Welcome to Cool Life Podcast, brought to you by therealthingdating.com. www.therealthingdating.com.
Polydor Records for out scouting. This girl grabbed my bangs and ran my head right into the speaker.
Oh,
And everyone here like this, yeah.
When we shot the scene in Good Will Hunting, I didn't know who most of these people were at the time. I mean, they weren't stars. It was Gus Van Sant that directed it. Gus Van Sant was on the floor with Matt Damon's character. I didn't even know who Matt Damon was at that time.
I'm Eva John. I'm a former candidate for local government. I was a children's television entertainer, and I love this world, and I believe we should take care of each other and have a lot of fun along the way. Welcome to Cool Life. Here we go. In this episode, Facebook gaming champion, public figure, and content creator Saao K joins us for an in-depth discussion on how he traded in a lucrative career to become an esports phenomenon. Trigger warning, animated gunplay is shown briefly after the second commercial break and again at the very end of this episode.
La noche no espera, estoy aquí afuera, bailando pegado a ti. Y siento
Just get to the portal. I'll do what I can to stop it from closing. See you on the other side.
estamos juntos y estoy que no aguanto más. Yo quiero amarte tanto más.
And welcome to Cool Life Podcast. I'm Eva John. Today we have our guest, Saao. I'm so excited. I know I'm being ridiculous, but I'm telling you, my heart is in it. I love watching you play. And I'm so honored that you're joining us here on Cool Life. Welcome.
Well, I love the enthusiasm, first of all. And secondly, it's an honor. Thank you so much for giving this opportunity to me. I really appreciate it. And it's my first video podcast. So there you go.
Wow.
You'll have the rights to it.
I'm telling you, this is like so fantastic to have you here. And, you know, for anyone who has not encountered the gaming done by Saao, this is definitely a unique combination of a highly skilled gamer who has just the nicest online personality and offline personality I've grown to discover. And so this is a real treat. Now I've got to ask, because you have such an interesting history, I wonder, Saao, what was the very first video game that you ever played?
So the very first video game I played was in childhood when we got Ataris and Sega. So I don't remember the name of the game that I played on the Ataris because I was too young. But when we got a Sega, I remember it was Street Fighter. So Street Fighter is where my memory starts off from.
Right.
And that is the first video game I believe that's an electronic video game as well that I played, yeah, pretty much, yeah.
It's amazing. That's a very famous name in gaming, Street Fighter. And knowing that you've gone so far with it, could you tell, did you have like a real skill and winning record when you were playing Street Fighter?
Actually, no. So I was never a professional gamer. I'm actually a stockbroker, investment banker. So that is what my focus was. Gaming was something I did with my brother or with my family, with my kids or something or the other later on, but never to the point where I thought I could actually be so successful, and not just being successful, making, in a way, making your hobby or like something you play for fun into a revenue generating business of some sort and entertaining people at the same time. So it's like a mix of a lot of things.
Oh, for sure. The fact that it's come
I
together.
wasn't a gamer.
No,
Yeah,
really.
so I was not a gamer, and it all just started from my son's iPad, to be very honest. I I was bored. It was recession. I was bored, and I just started playing PUBG on his iPad. And rather than playing, I was more of a collector, so I used to spend a lot of money on the skins, and that's how the journey started. That's back in 2018 when I started playing, and 2019 when I came into the streaming thing. Yeah.
That's not so long ago. And I guess we should all thank your son that he opened a door of opportunity and so much enjoyment. And I know for some people, some people don't quite connect to, okay, well, you enjoy video games. Why are you watching someone instead of playing? But there is actually an enormous amount of enjoyment watching someone play and play with skill, whatever game you're playing. Now, you actually have over 1 million followers on Facebook. You've got 1.4 million followers. Last time I checked, that number keeps going up. And I am aware of the fact that that's kind of a reboot. You've done a reboot on your profile. So like technically you've probably had like 3-4 times that amount, just that you've restarted. And the fact that you're touching so many people and you've got so many followers who are interested in what you do, like when did you realize that you had this kind of impact on so many people watching you?
Is the view count that brings in the motivation, to be very honest. I did initially when I started streaming, I did not even have 3 people. Like, and that's how it went on like that, 3 to 10 people. That went on for a couple of days, actually months. Not months, but maybe quarter to a month or half a month or somewhere, to that point. And then it just the numbers started growing. Made a couple of friends. People started sharing the stream. So that actually played a vital role because Facebook is all about, when it says connecting people, it's all about the 2 things, how they connect you. So you are connected either with your friends and family, which is a social aspect. And the other aspect is that if someone shares my stream, what happens is that they actually sharing it with their friends. So
Right.
if they have, like, let's say 200 friends and just 10 of them even pop in, or even 5 of them pop in, and one of them shares, so it's like a roller coaster, like a thing. It just keeps going on and on and on, and that's how you actually are exposed.
Yeah. Well,
which really works out.
That is truly exponential growth. And just like, of course, being a stockbroker, of course, you're going to understand that whole idea of an investment and watching that growth. And it is like an investment in connections and the number of people who watch. I mean, I know I, for one, would be up at 5 a.m., depending on the day of the week, watching you play. And so that's a global thing. And there's a beautiful aspect of it I enjoy, where you just switch, from English and you just continue into a different language and everyone is welcome. And I think that's a really unifying force that we're enjoying on Facebook, watching you game.
Indeed it is. And I've tried to keep a universal language, which pretty much now is English. But there are times when we do get a lot of people, our followers, who maybe don't understand it that well, or they're not as clear about it. So if they do speak the language that I can, then I try to conversate with them over there. And, we converse over there in that way, because when a follower comes to your stream, what does he do? What does he want? This is a basic thing that people still now do understand after lots and lots of workshops and understanding or watching videos of this for this topic. But the actual thing is that a person comes to your stream, he wants to watch the content. So after the content, if he does end up commenting, which sometimes I've seen people commenting in waiting months to comment. That's even something that I've seen, months literally, and they don't comment and they quietly watch you. And this is something that happens on Facebook, and you can tell who's watching. So honestly speaking, it's very hard to define. And if they do end up commenting and you reply to them, it's the world to them. And I'm
Yes,
sure as a follower and following me for so long, whenever you've commented, and if I have replied to you, unless there was some very intense situation going on in the game and I wasn't concentrating on the comments, it makes the other person feel special.
for
So
sure.
when the growth started happening and those numbers went from 3 to 5, 500 to 1,000, and then we went to 4, 5, 6, 10,000, 16,000, then the commenting was literally impossible to
Of course.
comment, to literally read everybody's comment. And this is a joke between my friends and my mods. I have some outstanding mods, and they do an great job, literally. And I used to tell them, I used to be like, "You want to have some fun?" And they used to be like, "No." They knew what I would be doing, and I would just go on and say to when there was like 8,000, 10,000 people watching me, I would just go on and say, "Just write the name of your country, name the country where you live, or
Right,
just write it in the chat,
right.
and I'm going to give you a shout out." And then there was spam. It used to be a spam, and it just used to go up so fast that, honestly speaking, nobody could keep an eye on it.
Right, of course.
Who's writing what?
Right.
So that's when you felt the power, that you're really somewhere. And not just the power, more than the power, you're being loved by people. People are like literally writing all sorts of things. Like
Yes.
someone would just pop in a message and say, "Love you, Sao," or and the country messages are going there as well. So the motivation is always there, and it does come in. And I did not get it the easy way. Let me tell you,
Right.
I did
No.
not. But when I did, then it was just like a rocket. It was
Yeah.
like, yeah.
No, it
So
was
yeah.
quite an impact. Like just seeing, you're right, it is love, and it is an interesting unifying force that you have so many people who watch. And I mean, you know that recent as in 12 within the past 12 months, you've switched from being on PUBG Mobile, which was like your major calling card for the game you played. And now, can you tell me? I know basically every time you go on, somebody says, "Oh, when are you going back? Oh, well, you're not on PUBG." So why the change?
Okay, so for me, I still really do like the game, the aspect of the entire it made me what I am. Never, I'm not going to regret it. But as a game, it was progressing towards making more money rather than focusing on issues. And I lost 3 huge accounts where I spent more than almost $50K on. We're talking about $50,000.
Right.
So, and believe me, we don't earn that much. A lot of it was from my own pocket, and there was no customer support coming in. So that was one big turn off for me, and you don't get that in games. So if you want to buy a story mode game, you just buy it, and that's it. You play it. It's hardly even a glitch coming in. But I understand that with online games that you play with online multiplayer, multiplayer games,
Right.
this is something that's there. But then again, there are other games like Call of Duty and stuff, and there's a huge support area that gives you support for it. So if
Right.
you're spending so much money on the game because people want to see that and you want us to make that happen, you need to give us some security.
Mm.
So that was a big turn off. The other thing is that there's a life for everything. Call of Duty is one game that I've seen is a legendary game which goes on. I've
Right.
played it as well. I don't play it very often, but I still have, and people love it.
Yeah.
PUBG had its ups and downs. So there were bans, there were other issues happening with them, which actually affected our viewership.
Oh.
And that really gave us a huge hit. So in a couple of countries, even in my home country, it was banned as well. It was banned in India as well. So India has a huge viewer base. For
Okay.
me, it was. It's actually more than it's like a million out of the 1.4. I would say we were talking about a million from there.
Oh, wow.
That's the amount of viewership that was coming in. And then
Yeah.
after a couple of months, they just swerved away. So we kind of started feeling like, I kind of started feeling like that it's not working out the way it was.
Right.
But
You're
then there
right.
was ups and downs going. I
Yeah.
still didn't make the change. But when this all in last year, when all of my accounts and all of this happened, and there was no customer support, there's AI is replying to you most of the time. There was no priority given to you. That really turned me off. Then watching went down, and secondly, just the game became very toxic. So we are talking about hackers. Nothing is being done. I understand every game has hackers when it's a multiplayer game, but they work on the issues, and they did not really work on the issues. So it
Okay.
just was a big turn off for me that I spent a lot of time. I mean, it's a part of me.
Mhm.
I can't deny that. I can never remove it.
Right.
So that's why I was honest about why I left the game. And that's why I tell people, but it's just that some people literally followed me for it and seriously followed me for it. I'm sure you were one of them as well.
Yes.
And but changing games, researching a bit more when changing games and how to, what you see on Facebook, you have to understand what market you need to cater.
Right.
Okay, you have the entire world in front of you. There's no limitations, there's no boundaries.
Right.
It's all about connecting and sharing in the proper right way, or asking people, and you get audience coming in. So it was hard for me to do that, but I don't know. I shifted to Call of Duty, and from coming in from PUBG Mobile, actually, we were PUBG Mobile players on PC. So coming from there to Call of Duty was very fast. Call of Duty was very fast. I had to keep up with the pace, which I tried to. But then I went into story mode games, and it was a game changer for my page. Because before I was playing with quantity, now I'm playing with quality.
Okay.
Understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's how geographically a lot of things work in our earnings.
Let's see. Now, from the other side of the screen with people, watching and enjoying, I think, maybe it's, just part of a symptom of being a fan, that people liked what they saw, and they keep asking you. And I'll ask you, just so you can answer to me, to them, for once and for all, because every day someone asks, when are you going back to PUBG? And what's your true final answer?
It's me. I give 1 or 2, 3 chances to everything in my life. But after the third strike, there is no chance. So
Right.
for me now, PUBG is something that is history.
Okay.
Because I know it's a little harsh to say, and a lot of people who would be watching this and my followers would say the same thing, that PUBG made you to what you are, or PUBG gave you the viewership and stuff. But then again, nothing stays. Everything is temporary.
Right.
So, and it's worked out for me. Like I said, you want quantity or you want quality. After 5 years of being a gamer, a streamer, a content creator, actually, I would rather call myself a content creator. Initially, I called myself a content creator rather than being called a gamer, because I was not a gamer. There are so many better people playing so well, believe me. And I just watch their game and I'm like, dude, how? And now we have people playing with 4 fingers and 8 fingers and on iPads and stuff, and playing the pro league. So I'm not even close to them, to be very honest. I'll be very honest about that. So I was never a gamer. It was a content creator who turned into a gamer. And in 2021, from gaming video creator, I was given the title of public figure on my page by Facebook themselves.
Wow.
So,
Wow. But you see, you had
it's
this
a no.
impact. It's a no, you're not going back to PUBG. However, that impact that you've made is significant. And, it's more than just winning the scores. You won a lot. We're going to talk about how much you won as well. But right now, we are going to take a little break and have an opportunity to talk about our sponsors and supporters, and we'll be back with more conversations with Sao on Cool Life Podcast. Those lonely days of lockdowns and isolation are gone for good. go to www.therealthingdating.com. That's www.therealthingdating.com. It's time to share. Share your time, share your life, share your love. www.therealthingdating.com. Join for free. Upgrade at any time, starting at just $5.99 a month. www.therealthingdating.com. Because it's time. You're listening to the Cool Life Podcast. We'll be back in 3, 2, 1.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Hope you guys are doing well. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you're joining us from. So, yes, we are going to be playing a new game today. It's an exciting game. It's Batman Arkham Knights. This is where the game has started.
I'm going after Riddler.
Good luck out there.
Little sluggish.
I had a feeling you'd say something like that. Give me a few moments, and I'll bring the afterburner function online.
Thanks, Lucius. It was good of you to stay behind.
You want to thank me, Mr. Wayne? Just try not to hurtle off the road. I should have some more upgrades ready soon.
Remnants of Gotham, I have messages for you all. To the vandals who stayed behind to pick them.
Why, hello there, Detective. Yes, it's me, the Riddler. Aren't things clearer now that that insane clown has been disposed of? Now you know who your real nemesis is. Congratulations, Detective. You have defeated me.
Good morning, Anna.
Seriously, Dark Knight, I'm stunned, humiliated, utterly bested.
And we are back on Cool Life Podcast, and today we are continuing with Saao, gamer who's internationally known, followed worldwide for his amazing gameplay and attractive personality. I've got to say, really, truly an all-around nice guy. Saao, thank you. And now coming back, I just have to say, it's amazing how many people you have been able to touch. Your followers become friends. I've had people reach out to me. Can you tell me, how is it that you settled on your gameplay on Facebook as opposed to, say, Twitch or YouTube?
So, when it came up to choosing a platform, when I thought of streaming, Facebook is a social platform, a social networking platform. So pretty much everybody is there, pretty much. And there were billions of users back in the days as well. So number one, it just made me feel like the people are already there. In terms of growth, it would be much easier. And it did work out because that was the time, 2019 was the time where gaming was completely integrated into the system with the social platform, and mixing that up at that moment just blew it. So we actually we progressed on a level that I actually was, I mean, I was always bullish. That's how I'd say, as an investment banker, I was always bullish on Facebook because it was a social platform. So you had people there rather than getting on a platform where you have to share your stuff or do it. More effort needs to be done rather than the platform putting the effort for you.
Right, I see.
And that is something that I envisioned when I started off, and I'm glad that that vision was successful, and it brought me to where I am.
Really. It was an excellent choice. I mean, the world is on Facebook, and it's nice. You're right. It is an effortless way to just be able to reach out, and bang, you're touching people internationally immediately from day one. Now,
Because they do open it.
right.
Once a day, they will open it. Twice a day, some people stay on Facebook a long time. And when
Yeah.
they do open that, and you do end up either in a recommendation form in front of you, like I'm sure I must have just popped out in your newsfeed one fine day, and that's how you started off with me. I'm
Nope.
sure that's how it happened. No?
No, I searched you out.
Oh, okay. So you did.
I searched you out. I think that I had encountered some other gamers who mentioned you, and then
Oh, okay.
then I searched you out and found you, and I saw why they were talking about you.
Well, I hope it was in good books when they were
Yeah,
talking about me.
positive word of mouth. Believe me, yeah, for sure.
That's perfect.
Now you had
I'm glad
mentioned
about that.
no, for sure. It's amazing that in the global village that people are really just one click away from someone who's can be in a completely different country but have something in common with you in that you have a similar interest. And it's far more there's something I think deeper when it's on a friendly level, where it's like, yeah, people who enjoy the same thing and enjoy watching you play. You've really attracted very positive people, I've got to say.
It's always a mix. So we have to filter out. There are people who you end up banning because they would just say or do something toxic. And I have been very particular about my streams. So yes, but positivity wins. Yeah.
Right. Well, on that same note, I mean, you never engage in coarse language. You might be playing a war game that people got to know you for, but your language, I mean, most creative use of the word fudge to say is from you. And it's like, now that you've gone into some different games, and there are times when you might see some very mature images or hear some coarse language or some harsh language. Are you uncomfortable when you encounter that with some of the games you've been experimenting with?
So I'm glad you asked me that question, because yes, some of the games that I have played had some discrimination, some racial abuse, and I was not very comfortable. So actually, there was a game. It is one of the best games so far I've played. The first two, it has three. It's a sequel of three. So 1, 2, 3, and the first and second were outstanding games. It's called Mafia, but the third one just turned out to be where there was more abusive language, and racial discrimination was there as well. We had a lot of other things, and I was uncomfortable, so I did not continue the game to the end.
Right.
I ended it
No,
because
I understand.
I just don't feel very comfortable. And this is something, maybe I don't know if this voice would go up to the people who are concerned in this matter, but you're making a game, you're putting so much effort. People are going to stream that game. There are streamers out there. I'm not just the only one. There are millions of streamers out there, and there's so many much more better streamers out there with a huge fan base than me. So when you know that that's going to happen, why not have a streamer mode where the abusive language goes away, censors out, or we don't get to see that racial discrimination or whatever so is negatively impacting? Because you see, when you are an international uh, streamer, or you could say we are celebrities as well. We are the celebrities of the future,
For sure.
of what we are entering into. So when that does happen, you're being watched from everywhere. pretty much. You don't know what country is watching you. If it's just that one person as well, and he could get offended. And that is something that I did feel. And then finding games that have a neutral aspect to it, then it brings it to a very completely different zone or category of games. So that's a very tricky one. But yes, I would say that I would request game developers to actually maybe make a streaming mode when you're putting up so much effort in bringing ultra realistic games that we could not even think of. Like you asked me about my first video game was Street Fighter. It's still there, but back in the days, what Street Fighter was and today what Street Fighter is a huge difference. It looks ultra realistic to us, remembering what we started off from. So when you put so much effort, why not, give us this aspect as well? Because where I'm sitting right now, what I'm happy about is that Facebook is giving they're putting in a lot of effort to with profanity,
Okay.
discrimination,
Right.
profanity, and so many other aspects. They are being very particular about it. So that is even something that I have to be careful as well. Like as a streamer, what kind of content am I putting up? Because if my content comes into any bracket where it's crossing a line or crossing a boundary, then my streams don't really go into recommends or suggestions. They won't, because technically, if you're going to do something that goes against the community standards, then you can't expect that video to have views or even your own followers to get the notification for it.
Right. Well, I'm glad that they're making a stand, and when language is harmful and offensive, that action is being taken to limit the access of that content. I mean, it has been woven into a lot of popular games, Grand Theft Auto, where you played that, and I think you experimented with Grand Theft Auto,
Yes.
last year. But I see you
I
have
had record numbers
right.
with
Okay.
GTA.
Okay. But then I also didn't notice you going back to it, because it does really touch on some situations in language that was that part of the reason that you didn't return to it, or haven't returned to it recently?
GTA is an open world game, and it has been in the system for almost a decade. I think I'm sure more than a decade now, or somewhere close to it. So a lot of people have created modifications for the game, and those mods have actually impacted platforms as well.
Okay.
Explicit content coming in.
Mhm.
So people, the sometimes the negative wins over the positive,
Yeah.
or the bad wins over the good. And in that case, GTA was going in that zone, and I had to pull myself back. But I still feel like that GTA is way old. Back in the days, to come up with something, laws were not as strict. But games that are coming in now, they know a lot of things. They know who's going to play the game. They know there are streamers who are going to go live. So I think they should focus more on it, because I played a game that recently came out, and pretty much it had issues. And then, so it did pull me off because of the modifications, because of it taking it into a negative aspect.
Right.
And I've been very particular about a lot of things when I started off streaming. And this was a huge part of it. It still is a huge part of it. And I have been like we say, I've been green unless there was a glitch. I've been green in my monetizations throughout.
Right.
In years. So that is how you can tell if the person is putting up the right content or not.
Oh, for sure. In your case,
knock on wood.
Your content is, I mean, again, it's very universal. I know that you're making efforts not to alienate anybody, and also to live within your comfort zone as well, as a person, as a dad, and a gamer. And I wonder now, I mean, there's some that might be similar to PUBG. I don't know if Warzone is still on. I know it used to be on Facebook, but I don't think I've ever seen you play Warzone, and it has a similar format. Some of it's you know, of course, like the solo player immersive game. And
No, it does. It does have it. We have the first person shooting. It's the same as PUBG. PUBG is now both. We have third person and first person,
okay,
and now we have both in Call of Duty. But I played Call of Duty just for 2.5 months,
okay,
and
and
then I shifted out to story mode games.
okay. Well, so then we're not going to see you play games like Warzone anymore, do you think?
I think I've had enough of the gunshots and the bombs and everything.
Okay.
I am enjoying story mode games. They even keep me in suspense sometimes, puzzled, and they keep my viewers as well. So like I may not have as many viewers now. Yes, there's a huge hit, but then again, like I said, quality over quantity or
Right.
quantity over quality is for you to choose.
Right.
So I
right.
chose quality now, even
Well,
if it's just 40, and I've seen 40,000 live viewers. My top is 40,000 with GTA. So
okay.
from 40,000 to 40, and if it's people who really want to watch that content, or if it's 100, 200, or whatever, so even if it's after my life is ended, I'm happy about that.
Well, I have to say, I mean, your fans are really true, and they are very loyal. It is an adjustment because change is change, right? I mean, as a human being, as a you know, you're responsible to yourself how you're going to live your life as well. Now you're a professional man, an educated man, as working with stock markets and then gaming, which seems like diametrically opposed to that type of a profession. But do you have a preference in your life in gaming and your life as a professional?
I have tried to balance initially
Right.
back in the days because there was both happening. But I wouldn't. This is something I need to add on, that this part of my life was a completely different zone. Like it was just completely the opposites.
Mm.
And that can't happen being a family man, being a son as well, being a husband as well, and being a father. So that can't happen so easily. I'm not a teenage boy who's just, who can just sit and do anything he wants without responsibilities. I have a lot of responsibilities, and all three people I mentioned, being a son, being a husband, and being a father, all three of them supported me in this.
Okay.
So the transition from a white collar business entrepreneur going into, once again, I am my own boss, and that's just amazing. To be honest, it's a true feeling. Not a lot of people get, but when they do get it, they do understand that we're not going to go and work for someone. I'm sorry if that offends someone, but still, being your own boss is just amazing.
Of
So
course.
coming over here into this aspect, the transition was not that hard. I had a huge family support. I still do.
Wow.
And then my family is my followers and the people who watch me. So it just grew, and it really helped me a lot because this transition was not as tough of a transition for me when I actually lost my mother in 2020.
Oh, I'm so
So
sorry.
yes, so what actually happened is that I did not know. I mean, this was the first time I lost a parent. So obviously you don't know, you go through mixed emotions, your hormones, and everything goes up and down, haywired, in a way. And I thought to myself, even though I've been blessed with some really uh, amazing strategic partners. So the strategic partners are people who we are in touch with in Facebook and stuff. And they were the ones who even said to me, take some time off, grief, take some time off. So like we, in religion wise, we have 3 days. That's it. So after 3 days, we're not allowed to grieve. Internally you can, but not like with like sitting at home and not meeting people and stuff like that. But after 3 days, when I was sitting on the fourth day, I felt like maybe if I go on live, I would be able to see how I feel.
Mm.
So it took me a day or two more, and then I went live within a week. And the first live I did, I said to all my friends and all my people, because there was so many people who were passing on their condolences and stuff like that. And when I went live the first time, I just told them that, listen, don't expect me to come live again a little time sooner, because I'm not feeling it and I need some time maybe. But then 2 days later, I just said to myself, if there's anything that could, I mean, you can never forget it. You lost a parent.
Of course.
But if there's anything it can help you, for me, I felt like it's going to be this.
Right.
And believe me, it did.
Right.
It really did. Because, you have the family support in positions like this. But when you get some other sort of support coming in from around the world, it's just some other feeling, and then that keeps you motivated as well. So it did really help me a lot.
It's really beautiful that people from around the world could be touched by what you are going through, and then you could be touched by their support. And it's really something beautiful in a sad time.
And it's vice versa.
Right.
So my followers know that if they have gone through something tragic or something or the other, and they do come up and express on my streams, they know they have my attention. No matter if I am in the middle of the most intense situation, I'll just turn around and talk to them. There are times when I got eliminated in the game because of just trying to read the
Right.
comments. But then
Yeah.
again, what is your priority is
Right.
what makes a difference now. So balancing is hard, but once you get a hold of it, it's smooth.
It's really beautiful. And something really does say that you are enjoying an international family along with the gameplay. So what we're going to do right now is we are going to take a little break to talk about our sponsors once again and our supporters, and we'll be back to continue with more conversation with Saao on Cool Life. Those lonely days of lockdowns and isolation are gone for good. Go to www.therealthingdating.com. That's www.therealthingdating.com. It's time to share. Share your time, share your life, share your love. www.therealthingdating.com. Join for free. Upgrade at any time, starting at just $5.99 a month. www.therealthingdating.com. Because it's time. This is Cool Life Podcast. Please remember to subscribe to Cool Life on your streaming service and on YouTube as Hellenique Today. That's HELENIQUE Today. Because that helps us to bring more cool stuff to your ears. You're listening to the Cool Life Podcast. We'll be right back.
आ जाओ लॉबी में वेट कर रहे हैं।
हाँ वही क्या आ रहा था, जल्दी आया करो।
मोहम्मद हाँ
देखो ये साथ भिखारी खड़ा हुआ है, भिखारी की औलाद।
अबे बंदे खड़े हैं ना भाई, पागल कर दिया उसको मैंने।
कहते हैं ना देखिए 10 उधर ड्रेस ले जाते हैं। आज के लिए ड्रेस सूट मुझे ज्यादा कर रहा है।
अच्छा तुम्हें दूसरा वाला दे दे।
अरे बट साहब 5 सेकंड रह गए आप मिथिक ड्रेस।
And we are back on Cool Life Podcast with Saao, gamer internationally known for his charitable work, for his winning score, and former PUBG Mobile champ. Now, this is an opportunity for all of us, and I'm absolutely thrilled. I have to tell you, I truly admire the work that you do as a gamer, and it is work. I know it is work. And we live in a world where games and gaming has changed so much. Now, you see with games that are being used as therapeutic help for people with memory loss also as therapeutic help for coordination and reflexes. So, seeing that there's a lot of positive that is being incorporated in games, what would you say to parents who still feel that electronic games are bad?
So let me answer to the first part and then to the second one. The first part where yes, they are helping. I don't have much research on it, but I'll tell you my own experience. So when you said memory, when I am playing a game, after I end it, I can't go to sleep. I can't do anything else. It's like this phase that I'm in, or like a place I'm in, and then it takes me time to go away, and then it still stays there. So I could relate to that part. That maybe the aspect of physically playing a game nowadays on consoles and stuff, where you could just stand up and play tennis. So there are multiple benefits to it. A person with a senior citizen would actually cannot maybe play tennis, for example, and he would just stand up and play and enjoy the game as well and have a little bit of exercise.
Right.
So yes, and I'm sure there are other aspects that I haven't actually researched on that are helping people when they are playing games. I've seen a lot of people actually just playing on their mobiles as well. Senior people who are just, rather than scrolling or doing something or the other, they would play games like Tetris or little small games, not very high end games, and keep themselves busy. So yeah, I mean it is making a change, a positive one. As for the second question about the parents not feeling that games are bad, so where is the parenting? My question is this, counter question, okay? And why I say this is because I'm a father as well, and my son is 11 years old. Number one, this issue has been ongoing where people are saying that games are putting a bad impact. Why are you using games as a bait? No, that's not how it is. It doesn't work that way. Your child stays in school for 5 to 6 hours. Accurately, I'm sorry if I'm mistaken over there with the numbers, but it's pretty much 5 to 6 hours a day. The rest of the time he spends is in his house. So he is getting that push, he's getting that the books, he's getting to learn, but at the end of the day, you're helping him out and at home. If you don't, he's not going to get good grades. From the first day, you have to do that.
That's
So
true.
you have to sit with him. You have to make him understand the homework, help him with the homework, and that's how he starts off. And as he grows, he goes on. So when you can't use games as a bait and say it's the games that are causing the rush or the negativity or a boy going crazy, or because he was playing a gun game. No, that doesn't happen. Where's the parenting coming in? What I have done, I'll tell you. My son was not allowed to play any shooting games to a certain age, and he was playing games like Lego games
Okay.
or any other Sonic games that do not bring in violence.
Okay, right.
And even now, despite being a PUBG player or playing so many other first-person shooting games that I have, or third-person shooting games as well, he's turned 11 and he's allowed to play Fortnite. And this is something that me and my spouse, my wife, we had something already planned out that's how we're going to do it.
Okay.
I bought a PS5 for myself, and he's allowed to now play on it. He has his own channel as well. So yes, to a certain extent, but we need to limit the hours of screen time.
Right.
If it's his iPad, if it's his television, and be focused on what he is doing. So if you're gonna leave the room after he's playing a game, and you're gonna close the door and not be concerned about what he's doing, then I'm sorry, it's parenting that needs to be focused on, not the game. Because if that is the context we are going to take everything into, then there's a lot of other things on the internet available today that can be blamed for so many reasons.
That's true. I mean, interacting with your child and knowing what they are being exposed to and having some say in that. You're right. It is the role of parents to parent, and anything can be helpful or harmful with a child if they don't have that parental guidance. And so I certainly see your point on this.
And it's important. It's important for this because this is a very strong debate we've had. You know, a lot of people even come on my streams and they have even questioned me, and most of them were senior people or parents or something or the other, and I give them the answer, the same answer, because I feel like one should own, you brought this child into this world, so you need to be very focused with them.
Right.
And at least to a point where you feel like they're matured enough to understand, but that never happens because I am the same little child for my dad. Okay, or maybe the same little younger brother for my brother, and I'll remain like that till the end, most probably. So and I did not feel it that way before when I was a teenage or a child or something or the other, but when I had kids myself, it changed the whole aspect, you know, the whole it was a completely change in terms of my approach. So yes, I mean, it needs to be worked on.
Of course.
You don't know what your child is doing, then I'm sorry, but you're doing something wrong.
And it is an important role, a parent, and to be aware of what your children are involved in, what they're exposed to, whether it's the games they play or what they read, the friends they have, where they go, where they hang out, to be aware of what your child's activities are, and to realize that you have a say in that. You're not just an observer. You're not just an audience member. You get to play a leading role in your child's life. Now, on the note of family, can you tell me, I mean, you as a family man, which very much is a part of the shape of your character as a gamer, what is that like with your family support in what you do, and even as a husband and a son?
So like I said before as well, I had tremendous support coming in from my family. So transitioning from a white collared person, investment banker, going into gaming, I had a sons, my father and my brother, they were there as my male support. I had my mother. She gave me, she just didn't, like, I did not have any hurdles with my immediate family. Then comes in my wife, and the male support is very is even to the point financially. My brother and my father supported me hands down. Never asked me what you're doing, would it work out or not. My mother had this thing from the beginning. She said, you're going to touch something, it's going to turn into gold. I know. She was right to a certain point. And
she was
then,
right.
Yeah, but these are roles you have to understand that are roles that will accept you because they are your blood. You know, they will support you. Your mother, your brother, your father. But when it comes up to your wife, it was something that was, you know, it was outstanding for my wife to stand next to me and say, yo, I know you're going to do it. And I know what you're doing is, she could stand up and say, you are doing well over there as an investment banker, or it's just a phase, or if the country is going through recession or whatsoever, why change the whole thing and going into a completely different thing? And let me tell you, I transitioned over here at the age of 34. That's not an age to become a gamer, to be honest, you know. And she stood by me, and she still stands by me. Yeah. There are times on live stream when she's fed me because both my hands were occupied while playing the game. So she's doing that, being a mother of two. She stood by me, and yeah, I'm blessed to have my family, my kids even. They you know, I mean, I understand there's a part of it that they feel like, oh, our dad is a gamer or he's a streamer. It's cool now.
Right.
So they kind of feel that way, but they kept they understood that if my father is working, they call me Baba, over here. So he's like, if Baba is working, so they gave me my time, and they would come on stream as well. And then my viewers would say, like, say, bring your kids in, bring your family in. My wife used to come over here on the stream. So it is you're lucky if you're blessed with every person in the family, from blood to your wife to the blood that you have created, and all of them to support you. It's an amazing feeling, and that's once again a huge motivation, huge, because these hurdles can sometimes stop you, like the question we had before. Parents are saying the games are bad, or why are you playing games? There's no future for games. No, 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 no. You're wrong now. I'm sorry. You're a parent, but I have to correct you. Even if I'm younger than you, I have to correct you. No, it's a world of technology. Did you or I ever? I'm 39 now. Okay, so I have seen the era of a phone this big, and I'm sure you must have gone through that too.
Yes. Yep.
Two over here,
Right.
where on a button you can click and transfer millions of dollars through banks. You can buy crypto. You can shop what you want. It's all over here, and this is advancing on a very fast level. So no, you are in a world where technology is taking over.
Yeah.
And this is something I would like to say to people, to the stereotypes. And I did that. I'll go to that next, but I would like to say to them that don't stop them. Yes, when they are in the age where that they can come in, don't stop them, because you never know where that could lead on. I mean, I'm an example of it. And and secondly, the part where you say about stereotypes and you say people are understanding, I'm actually supporting a family. So, and with this for the past 5 years.
It's amazing. It's a whole different, it's an industry. It's a profession. And it's a
We are bigger than
profession.
Hollywood now.
Yeah.
You can Google that.
Yeah.
Officially on record. Esports is bigger than Hollywood now.
Yeah. No, I believe it. And it's more accessible, isn't it? It's more accessible to anybody. Right?
It is accessible, and it's something I feel like it has more potential to it. I'm a very small fish in the sea compared to other streamers who I watch as well.
You've said that a few times, but I'll tell you that I have watched you win over and over again. And I'd started watching you 5 in the morning, and I'd get the kettle and top up my tea with a little more hot water and come back and say, oh, you already won chicken dinner up on the screen over and over again. And I'll tell you too, so enjoyable. You started a little phenomenon, and at the end of each of your wins, you used to put on the music, solos en la noche, baila conmigo, right? And it's like you have people all over the world who just don't even know what they're saying. Baila conmigo, baby, because you had that music going on. How did you come across that as your win music, your winning theme song?
So I was going through, Facebook has given us a sound collection. It's so that copyright doesn't come in.
Right.
And we don't face any issues. So they've made up a huge sound collection for us. And someone actually told me about it, that there's a huge sound collection where you can use on your streams as well.
Right.
I actually was looking for something when a chicken dinner happens, when we win. So that music or that song was only played when this chicken dinner was happening, not when we were normally. So
now just to clarify as well, so it would come up on the screen, winner, winner, chicken dinner at the end of a win. So we're not just talking about Swiss Chalet here.
So, and that song, just for some reason, I liked it. And not just me. So we had a couple, I had like on my stream deck, I had like 6 songs. And in the beginning, I tested them out. And for some reason, that song was just loved by everybody. On my followers side. and people used to enjoy. And if I one fine day I forgot, they used to be like, "Where's the song?" So then I was like, "Oh, okay, I've forgotten." I just used to click on the stream deck, to play the song. So it's in our industry, it's you can envision, but you cannot be accurate about it. What kind of content will be? If there's some game that I love to play, and I'll be playing and nobody would be watching, and there's a game that I like to play but people love it, so it's an unpredictable place and where we are. So you don't know what will be liked or not. So you have to put up options. You have to give it a lot of thought. And if you can feel it, you see, who are your followers? Number one, there's a set of followers who will follow you and might not interact with you on a very daily basis or weekly basis, and just, sometimes just come to you. Then you have those followers who really come to you. And for me, it was like, if the motivation still comes from them. So you see, I believe in one aspect. You don't follow the game, you follow the streamer. Because if you're going to follow a game and then follow that streamer, that's wrong. You need to follow the streamer to understand him, to follow the game, and then his ideology of his page, of what he's trying to do. And if I could feel it, and those people who were over there, I knew they could feel it too, to a certain extent, or maybe a certain portion of it could feel it. But in this case, it was a win situation for me.
Well, for everything that has come together to create your brand, it was really, really, truly attractive. And it kept a lot of people coming back. And that's really beautiful.
I had some really good, not good, amazing people who guided me.
Right.
I would say that. Yeah.
I think that it shows. And I think that it's been a part of creating and maintaining a wonderful, huge fan base, which I know is just going to keep growing. So tell me, is there a game that you've played that has stayed with you, and just once in a while you think about it, you remember it, you savor it, or for better or worse? Have you encountered a game that you've played that has just been memorable?
I'll say it's PUBG.
Okay.
It is. Because you can't forget what you started off from. You can never forget that. And then the days I used to play the game, I mean, it's been almost a year now, almost, where I've stopped. But 4 years is a lot of time to play the same game. And then I was not a good player. Like I said, I was not a gamer. So this was the first time I was playing games on PC. Before that, we always played games on consoles, televisions, sitting with the family playing a game or something or the other, just for fun. But it did really make a huge impact. Yeah. And it was, I mean, it was a positive impact.
For sure. And I think it has a domino effect, certainly, even people watching you, for sure. Now,
it's like in the blood.
Right.
That's how I'll say. I still see, if I come across someone's account who's spent a lot of money on the game, that is getting skins and stuff, I just keep scrolling. I'm like, oh wow, nice, you got new stuff coming in, huh? But I ain't coming back. So it's like a love-hate relationship.
Yeah, it's, well, you know what, it's given us a lot of memories. My favorite memory is you swimming before you start, and you dive in and just like, hey, let's just take a look at how well they built up this environment. And so you would have your avatar swimming.
Like waiting. You're talking about the time when you're waiting in the lobby.
Yeah, waiting in the lobby just before you all get airlifted to the battleground, and it's just, you just decide, you know what, this is my world, and I'm going to do what I want with it. And I just love that you just be like, is this dude swimming? Why is he swimming? It was just beautiful.
And then from there, going to meet 99 players in the game, and you are one of them. And then finally, if getting to the point, to the top 10, then to the top 4 or top 5, people, and then if it's a squad match, it's different, and then the end, it's like the last 10 or 5 overs of the cricket match,
Right.
or like the 10 minutes of a football game.
Yeah.
That's how interesting it gets, and suspense increases, its intensity. So
Well, that's
yes,
'cause
that rush.
but you understood the strategy of it. That's why. I mean, 99 people in there stumbling around, and, they turn around and boom, they get killed. It's like, oh, that was a lovely 15 seconds. No, you were not a 15-second player. And that's just it. You played that like a chess game. And
So initially,
yeah.
yes, I was a 15-second player.
Okay.
I was a 30-second player, or then I was a 5-minute player. But I had some really good friends, and they are streamers too. Some of them stopped streaming. One of my friends is streaming as well, and they actually really helped me a lot. Believe me, they helped me in understanding how to keep my 2 hands occupied and aims, practice what to do, what not to do, what kind of uh, hardware I need, because I always wanted to have a outstanding picture quality of my streams. I wanted to have whatever I could in my means to be the best.
Right.
And they really helped me. So I missed them out, but I am glad that you brought that up, because they did really help me in being what I am. And I still don't consider myself a good player, because what I see nowadays, so many good players. I mean, and I enjoy watching them. I hardly watch streamers because I stream myself, and if I do, it is just very few who I would. But yeah, they have really helped me a lot in becoming from 15 seconds to all the way to a game where we've gone up to more than 30 minutes, which is almost the packs of the last zones
Right.
of the game. Yeah.
Right. Oh, and I mean, you bring a lot more to the table, even still, than a lot of any other successful gamer, because you're an all-around person, a total person, and you have community involvement. I mean, I don't want to, like, if you don't want to mention it, but I'm aware that you are involved in charitable work and helping people in this world who really do need help. Do you want to tell us a little bit about some of the charitable work you've been involved in?
So we did a couple of streams. I won't get into a lot of details, because I personally feel that whatever charitable work you're doing is something that should not be boasted of a lot. But we did charity streams, and a lot of success came in. I was in a part of the world where we were not monetized at that time. I think still we are not. We're under processing of being monetized for charity streams as well. So what happened is that we had to transfer that to people, asking people to send us stars for achieving the goal. And like this, people really moved forward. I was very happy, because I personally feel the first thing out of your earnings, it's a very strong thing that I follow, is that you give, then you do what you want to do with it.
Mhm.
And then it doesn't stop.
Well, that definitely helps to make the world a better place, and to know that you are reaching back to those who aren't able to have access to some of the things that we can take for granted. I think that's really beautiful, and I can understand it is a private and special thing. I know you're not a boastful person, and when for many people, we'd say you've got every right to boast about all the things you do, and that's just exactly what makes you very special, and why people really back you up and love to see you do your work on the screen. Now, I've got to say, you have seen every aspect of this, what it's like to be a gamer, what it's like to be a professional man and a family man. Do you feel that in gaming you have transferable skills, that whether that's in your reflexes, do you see that pay off somewhere when you're driving, when you're playing soccer? Do you see that?
I think driving, I would be a better driver on the road than in gaming. I had better control.
Okay.
As for in terms of sports, I'm not a big sports guy, to be very honest. I here and there sometimes, I'll watch something or the other. Tennis is something I like to watch. It's a game I like. But in terms of in terms of me, I feel like aims. So I go to shooting ranges,
Right.
and believe me, when the first time I started off, I did not know that I'm going to hit so well.
Mm.
And that actually was because of all the aiming that I have done for the past 4 years.
Right.
So there is a proper, you can actually go to shooting ranges and have competition, going on over there as well. And that's a sports as well.
Right.
So I've recently started doing that. That was because of a situation as well. But due to that, I figured out, wow, I didn't know that.
Mhm.
That in real life it would be this. It would help me. Yes, in reflexes, sound. I've become very, very because in the game we have to hear footsteps, and those footsteps tell us which side the person is going to come in from. Is he coming in from the back? Is he coming in from the front? Or if we're in the house, the footsteps are roaming around up. He's roaming around trying to, find a way to come to you, or you going to him. So that made my senses more, my hearing senses more. My reflexes were, I mean, they were pretty good. I would say they were from the beginning. So that aspect didn't really work. That didn't really play a role in it. But yes, multitasking, so many other things, because when I'm streaming, I'm actually playing a game and I'm streaming on the other side and reading comments.
Right.
So it's like pretty much three things: game and focus, streaming to see if everything's going well in our dashboards, and then focusing on the commenting. It's like three things at the same time. So it's not an easy thing to do.
Right.
And if there's a lot of traffic coming in, it can become tough. And that's where my moderators really help me.
Right, right. And it's excellent that you have that organization behind you. Amazing that those are skills that you've brought into the real world. Now, tell me, Sal, for everything you've seen inside and out from different types of games and gaming, do you feel that you want to develop your own game in the future?
Yeah, I would. If I have the resources to, because I'm not a coder, I don't have any knowledge to do it myself. If I did, I would have. But yes, I would. I
Well,
would make one FPS first person shooting
right.
game, and it would have a mix of a lot of other games.
Well, then I'll have to keep an eye out for the game called Saao that is coming soon. Ladies and gentlemen,
And
boys and
I
girls.
would definitely want to be a character in it.
Right. No, that would be a beautiful thing, something for all of us to look forward to. And I just before we wrap up and rock on out of here, I wonder, will you take a second to show me two things? One would be this amazing mural. If you can tell me about that mural, I see the Facebook F on it just to your right. And then after, if you can show us that a spectacular view again that you showed earlier of what's on the other side of you. But can you tell me about the mural?
Okay, so this is actually I had to ask someone to come in from another place, because this is all graffiti. It's all proper graffiti.
Wow.
And the bottom part, if you look at it, it's actually Sao Killer. That's my page name. So I think because of the monitor over here, you're not being able to see a certain part of it. But the bottom says Sao Killer. Then we go up, and that guy in the middle on a bike, if you
Right.
can see him, can you?
Yeah.
He's actually, the camera is kind of covering him. That's me on the bike,
Okay.
and my destination is Facebook.
Okay.
So to reach over there, then we've got these buildings in this retro look. I'm a retro guy. Okay, you can say yes. I'm 39 years old. I was back in the era. I loved retro music, the Miami vibe,
Right.
and so I had to bring that in. This was some neon colors over here that he put in. So the buildings, and that comes in from the downtown Miami and New York aspect.
Right. And
because I love.
you lived in Miami. I mean, you're definitely an international jet setter because you're in South Asia, you're in North America, and you basically own the world the way you want to. And so that's really, really cool. It's reflected in this unique, one of a kind graffiti art.
And then we've got our sponsors. So
Right.
these are the people who have actually sponsored me for peripherals or mainly for computer hardware and my computers, because I have one of the most unique. Let me transition into the other mode so I could show you. So
For sure.
we were lucky enough to, I was lucky enough to be sponsored by multiple brands. So those are some of the brands that are bannered. The banners, if you see on the road, or billboards, if you could say, those are actually my sponsors. And I had to actually increase them because I have a couple of more sponsors that came in and they made this possible.
Wow. And you can do shout outs for them if you want.
Yes. So we had Asus, we had Aorus Gigabyte, we had Thermal Take, we had Waterblock, Waterblocks from EK. We had Thermal Take stuff coming in. We had Trident Z. We had for our RAMs. I mean, we had Seagate for our hard disks. These are not normal PCs.
No.
And believe me, in where I am right now, these PCs are not even easily available. Nobody wants to touch them. You want to have something like this, you are the mechanic of it or the person who builds it for you.
Right.
And that is the biggest role. And the shout out goes to the guy that's over there, says IFR in green in the billboard, because he's a YouTuber. He's one of a very fine YouTubers. His name is Designs by IFR, and the guy is Corey. And I approached him back in 2020, and I told him who I am and and stuff. And he is in Australia, and he made these two beautiful pieces for me that are filled with water coolants, just like in a car. So you have your own coolants in a car. These pieces are filled up with coolants for PCs.
Wow.
And that is how they make them cool. And making them in an open way. The first one was the basic in a box. The second one, I wanted an open PC. And it took a lot of effort and time. And each component over here is worth thousands of dollars that I have been sponsored by all these people. And that
Amazing.
all could have not happened without Corey. I believe in this one aspect where I feel that you should give credit to people who have helped you out.
Right.
You should.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, you're not successful. You're selfish.
Well, truly, the support and the hard work that has gone behind you is definitely well earned. And I've enjoyed seeing the result of that in all the work that you've done in gaming. And all I can say is don't stop. It's such a pleasure for you to share so much time today to be on our podcast and to let us know the behind the scenes experience as one of the most successful gamers on Facebook today. Saao.
Thank you for having me. It was, like I said, you have the copyright for the first video podcast, or if it goes audio as well somewhere of me. When you came up to me, I was like, it's a great opportunity to go on, because I've been seeing a lot of people doing video podcasts and stuff. And I was like, okay, maybe later on,
Well, I'm glad
I
you
could
said
have another
yes.
segment.
I'm so glad that you said yes, and that you're right. You could have had a different sentiment to it, but instead, realizing that this is so kind, again, very charitable nature of yours to make yourself available and to participate and to let me stop your world long enough to have this time for our conversation. I'm going to be grateful forever. And I want you to know that you have an open invitation anytime you want to be back on Cool Life podcast, if you have ever anything you want to
Definitely.
announce, for sure. And today I want to say thank you from Cool Life Podcast. Until next time, I'm Eva John, and we're going to rock on out of here. Bye.
Implosion warning. Siddharth bhai, how are you doing? मेरी स्ट्रीम पे देखें, आपको नजर आएगा. इंट्रो जो बनाया है बहुत चिकना इंट्रो है. वेलकम. हेलो रिंकेश.
Hello everybody, what's up?
कौन सा जहाज?
अच्छा नहीं खड़े हो एक जंप लगाना दिख जाएगा. Move करना.
Oh yes.
Next.
GG's.
मेरे पास
हाँ ओके मैंने कर दिया था.
चलो next.
शिमला राज, हेलो how are you doing? पैनिक चल निकल. चल गाड़ी में चल. ओ शॉट. वो ग्रीन बुलेट्स मिल गई. मर गए सारे. क्या हुआ है? Nimsha, thank you for coming in. Let me give a shout out to all the lovely star senders who have been generous to send me all the stars. Khanna bhai is at the top with 20,000 stars. Big massive shout out to Khanna bhai. Thank you so much. Dilip bhai with the 5,000 stars. Thank you so much once.
मेरे पास
And that was our show. Thank you for listening to the very end. Please remember to subscribe through your streaming service to get more access to our guest interviews. Also, please subscribe on YouTube to help support our podcast. Until next time, I'm Eva John for Cool Life Podcast. Thank you for turning me on.